Hello again. This is Ken, your friendly neighborhood life coach and hypnotist. I got another little tidbit to talk about when it comes to narcissists, dealing with a narcissist when you have a relationship with a narcissist. It's a huge conversation that really can go on almost forever because there's so much to it. It's so pervasive and widespread, has so many possibilities and varieties and colors to it that you can keep on talking about it and still never have a full spectrum understanding of it. But we're going to try. What I want to talk about today is about how the victim of a narcissist, and as we're talking usually, let's say for example in a romantic relationship, a couple that gets together, and over time it becomes revealed that one of the couple is a narcissist through their behavior, through their words, through their actions, through their attitude and energy towards the other person. And it's always about control. Control is the it's the number one thing that narcissists are looking for. They're not looking necessarily to hurt you, but hurting you means I have control over you. I can control you. If I can hurt you, that means I control you. So that's kind of what they're looking for. But what I want to talk about today a little bit is that how I notice so many times, pretty much every time. I think if I was to be honest, I'd say every time. When I have people in my office and I'm working with them, life coaching, and they end up having conversation about this narcissist in their life, and a person can go on for 30 minutes, and when this happens, I just sit quiet and I let this person just vent, get it all out, because I'm absorbing their words, I'm absorbing their energy about this relationship, so I can get a better, more of a full spectrum understanding of what their experience is, so I can better life coach them through it, and also will create a hypnosis to get them through, help them through it. So I'll listen to 20, 30, 40 minutes of just endless negative talk about this person that they're with. Not a single pleasant thought, not a single pleasant word about that person. All negative about how bad they treat me, how bad they make me feel, how they've separated me from my family, separated me from my friends, how, all the bad negative things that they've done, said, all the bad attitude. 30 minutes, 40 minutes goes by, and then they finally be at a moment where they're done for a bit, and I might have a response. My response might be, okay, well, it's very clear that this person is a negative force in your life and makes you feel bad about yourself. And you'd be surprised how almost instantaneously that person sitting across from me will then completely change into a whole nother mindset, a whole nother conversation, and they'll be in denial. Instant denial. No, they're not. No, I adore them. They're the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I feel privileged. I'm so grateful that I have this person in my life. This person is the most amazing thing. They're the light of my entire life. And I don't know how you got that. Well, you just went on for 30 minutes about nothing but negative stuff, this horrible things, and I'll even recite back to them, they did this horrible thing to you, they did this horrible thing to you, they did this horrible thing to you. Then they start to kind of break down a little bit, go, well, yeah, but it's not all bad. We have a lot of fun too, we have a lot of good times too. I get that, but you came here because there's more problem than there is good. So what ends up happening here is where this the victim of a narcissist in a narcissistic relationship, they come to the defense of that other person, could probably be defined or even categorized under what's known as the Stockholm Syndrome. Now, the Stockholm Syndrome, as most people might be aware, is something that took place many years ago, where the outcome of it was simply that the prisoners of some criminals, they were prisoners for a brief period of time, a few days, but then the prisoners or the victims of this situation, they became almost obsessed with their captors. They became obsessed. They even wrote letters to their captors while their captors were in prison. Many of these people wrote letters, favorable, not letters of "I hate you, I hope you die." No. they wrote letters that were kind and friendly and sharing their life and with them and wanting to hear back from them what they're doing. They actually created a bond. And of course, it was called the Stockholm Syndrome, to where this is applicable very much so, I believe anyway, in a narcissistic relationship. Because what happens is you have one person who's abusing the other person. The person who's being abused is really desperate for the approval of their abuser. I can't get their approval. I can't get their approval. I can't get their approval. I can't. Acceptance and approval is what I really need. And this is a subconscious driven. Consciously, they might be thinking, I hope this person, bursts into flames in front of me. Subconsciously, they're becoming obsessed with needing that person's acceptance and approval. So we have this old saying that rejection breeds obsession. Rejection breeds obsession. So that means by being rejected by you have a captor, you have an abuser, you're not getting their approval, you're not getting their acceptance. You feel this form of rejection, so it makes you try harder and harder and harder, and you don't even realize that you're doing this. It's just something that's happening. So become desperate for their approval, and when it comes time to, if somebody else says something negative about, oh, you have a black eye, what happened? Did he punch you again? Oh no, he didn't hit me. It wasn't his fault. They become defensive over that person again and again and again, and they don't even know why. They just know that they're doing it. And it's very hard to watch, it's very hard to witness, hard to experience as an outsider in this situation, because all you want to do is help this person to get away from a person who's treating them badly. And the biggest obstacle in that situation is the one who's being abused. They are going to be the biggest obstacle in the exiting strategy. So these are some things, again, to look for, to feel, to see, not just in your own life, your relationships, but it might be a friend or family member you might notice. The biggest problem is there's very little we can do about it. But identifying it, at least now we know what we're working with, what we're dealing with, and how we might better be able to manage, maneuver, and treat this situation to where we don't inflame it or make it worse. And hopefully at some point it'll just kind of fizzle out and people will move on. But other than that, there's very little, if anything, you can do. So anyhow, that's talk today about narcissism and Stockholm Syndrome and the victim protecting the abuser. Hope that's something that you might be able to use in your life. It's something I help people with literally every day in my office to help overcome using my life coaching and hypnosis. But anyway, I hope that helps you, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. Bye now.